everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Murrow Minutes Goes Virtual for the summer session. I am your host, Mackenzie Johnson, and we are super excited to have you here with us today. Ever since the announcement last week about all of the classes going virtual on the WSU campus for the fall semester, we wanted to reach out and let you know about some of the resources that we have available for you in the Murrow College. So we have a great episode planned for you with our Murrow Student Services team today. They're all here with us today, taking the time to talk to you about some of the common questions that you have about our offices and the services that we provide. So without much further ado, I say we jump into some of those common questions that you guys have been sending to us, and hopefully we can get all of your questions answered by the end of this episode. So without, like I said, much further ado, I say we jump right into some of the questions that we have for, let's start with Katie, who is the president of our Murrow Student Ambassador Program. She had some kind of good perspectives on what Murrow Student Services is, and again, the services that we can provide from the student perspective. So Katie, I'm going to jump right in and ask you, what does student services mean to you as a current student, as a current Murrow student?
Student services has always been a place that just is there to support me. It's a team of individuals who really just wants to see me succeed in the Murrow College as well as after the Murrow College. So they're there for any questions I might have currently, whether that be for classes or as I move on, as I look to senior year for career. They're always just there to support whatever I need. They'll take time out of their schedule if I'm feeling stressed and I need to talk to someone. They're always there, and I think what it means to me is I kind of have a team of supporters behind me who probably know more about the Murrow College than I do, so that they can answer all my questions, but they're also just here to make sure I'm successful.
I couldn't have put it better myself. Thank you so much for describing that. Just to add on, we do have kind of three components of our Murrow Student Services area. We have our awesome advising team who's with us today, as well as our career advisor, Angela, who's on our call today as well. And we also have a recruitment piece. So for those of you that are interested in getting a tour of the Murrow College or learning more about us, that all falls under Murrow Student Services. So we're really thankful to have a whole team with us today to answer those questions. Going back to you, Katie, what are some of the specific resources that you have used in Murrow Student Services?
Yeah, so Murrow Student Services has a lot of resources available to students. I would say the one that I've used the most is drop-in hours. This year or this semester, they're going to be Monday through Friday, so they're always going to be there, but it's really just a time for a quick 10-minute appointment to ask your advisor, but any burning question that might have just popped into your mind that day. There's a lot of things that happen that you just really want to talk to someone about, so drop-in hours is a really great way to do that. There's also a career development piece of student services with Angela. She's really great at helping build resumes and how to maybe build business cards and interview tips, and so that is something that looking forward as I'm getting ready to leave Murrow that will definitely very heavily be used. And I just really enjoy that they're always there. You can stop in and talk to Rose any day if you're just having a bad day. Of course, this was before COVID, but I'm sure she'd be willing to take your call. She's really fun to talk to, but those are the services that I use.
Thanks so much for sharing that, Katie. Most people are very familiar with Rose in our front office and dropping in to say hi. That is going to change a little bit with COVID, and our advisors will kind of talk about what that's going to look like for fall, but she will be willing to take your call at any time still, like you mentioned, so I love that. Before we move on to our guest speakers to answer some of those questions, do you have any advice of what both new and current students could be using student services for in this fall semester? Do you have any advice and ways that you would recommend that students use that?
To reach out to our advisors and our student services team. I think a lot of times we try and do everything by ourselves, and it's way easier or people think it might be easier just to handle it on your own or try and answer your questions by yourself. But I would say reach out to your advisors and reach out to Angela. They really want to help. They're always there. I would say take advantage of drop-in hours in your advising appointment and really make the most of the information that they hold, because they have probably the most information about Murrow that anyone ever has. They know everything. They've always never had a question they couldn't answer. So I would really just say really reach out to your advisors. They're really easy to get in contact with. They're going to be everywhere for us this semester, here to support us. So I guess my biggest piece of advice for everyone, just make sure to utilize the student services as well as your advisor.
Great piece of advice, and I'm only going to say that about 4 more times throughout this video. Make sure and use the resources this fall semester because we are here for you. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Katie. Now for really the bulk of why we're here today, we do have, like I said, our advising and career services team here with you to answer some of those questions that, like I said, we've kind of been getting in our office and across the university. So I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves, talk a little bit about what they do in Murrow Student Services, and then we'll jump right into those questions. So Megan, I'll turn it over to you for an introduction.
My name is Megan Starr-Geffert. I'm the Assistant Director for Advising in the Murrow College. I've been with the college for nearly 9 years, and I'm really excited to get to help all of you, even though it's going to be a virtual format. I'm excited for fall.
My name is Tammy Vick. I'm an academic advisor here in the Murrow College. I've been with the Murrow College for about 13 years. So, and I actually have a very long running history with the Murrow College through my family. So my son is a recent graduate. My husband is a graduate of the Murrow College. My father-in-law is a graduate of the Murrow College. And my husband's grandfather is also a graduate of the Murrow College. So we have a long family history for sure.
Hey everyone, I'm Jeremy Watson. I've been with Murrow College just since April, so relatively new here, but excited for the semester to start. I just recently wrapped up a very rewarding 22-year career in the Navy. Most of it spent as a naval flight officer. One of my most rewarding tours that I had, I taught ROTC and was an advisor at North Carolina State University, and that kind of really set it in me, the desire to come back to this area and work with students, and it's so rewarding seeing where you start and where you end.
Hi, I'm Jessica Hernandez, and I am an academic advisor with the Murrow College. And I actually came from 4 years of financial aid at another institution. So I'm really happy to now be an academic advisor so I can help students achieve their goal from beginning to end to get their degree.
I'm Angela Schweigert. I'm a career advisor with the Murrow College. This is going on my second year here. I did academic advising earlier, and I was at the University of Idaho for 14 years in student services. And I'm really happy to be here to provide career services. So please contact me.
My name is Rose Voss. I am the office assistant and minor advisor for student services here in Murrow. This is my 4th year with the Murrow College. I just love helping you guys, talking with you guys. Anytime you've got questions, want to chat, I'll be here and I'll explain a little bit later about how we're going to make that happen for this semester virtually.
Fantastic. Well, we are so excited to have all of you guys here with us today. As soon as the announcement was made last week, the entire team kind of reached out and they said, hey, how can we help our students? And we thought that, jumping in with this video would be a great way to answer those questions and get those resources to you guys. So thanks so much for everyone being here today. So let's start out with some general questions about student services, which I think are probably best answered by Rose, who kind of oversees the office and is generally the face you see if you physically walk into the office. But like she said, it is going to look a little bit different for fall. So Rose, from your perspective, what is student services? What is our office?
So we are a team of professionals ultimately dedicated to your success as a student. Our goal is to really optimize your educational opportunities and the resources that you have at your fingertips. We just really strive to build a relationship that's collaborative and supports you in both your professional development and everything that you've got going on while you're getting your degree.
I love that. That was like a perfectly written advertisement. I want to just frame that. That's perfect. That's exactly what we have available for you. And like I said, Rose is kind of that person that oversees all of that for us and makes sure that you guys are getting in with the right person and getting those questions answered. So to move on to that, kind of especially for fall, where are we going to be located both physically and virtually? And how do we get in contact with you guys with student services?
So the kind of cool thing with us being totally virtual for advising for fall is that we are absolutely wherever you are that you have Wi-Fi or phone access. So as far as appointments go, you can make appointments through SSC Navigate. It's the university scheduling software. You can find that at navigate.wsu.edu. You can also call our office at 509-335-7333. As far as the first week of classes go, we are going to have drop-ins via Zoom all day. So it's going to be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with the exception of noon to 1 because we need to eat lunch, Monday through Friday that first week, again, via Zoom, and that's all Pacific time, just so you know. After that, we're going to be starting drop-ins from 8:30 to 9:30, Monday through Friday, also via Zoom. And otherwise, also also starting the second week, we'll be adding that Zoom lobby that we were talking about. And I will be on that, or, you know, someone else if I'm not away, if I am away, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. again, closed from noon to 1 p.m. Every day. So if you ever have something you want to chat about, a quick question, or if you don't know who to talk to in the university, I can help redirect you to where you need to go.
That's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that Zoom lobby piece. It's essentially, you know, putting our student services office out there virtually. So if, again, we had a lot of people stop by and say, hey, you know, I can't find who my professor is, or I have questions about this, or, you know, who do I go to get this resource? You can pop right in and Rose will direct you to who you need to talk to. So I love that we're going to have that resource. And I also love that our advisors are going to be available for drop-ins every day of the week throughout the full semester. So really, there's no excuse why you shouldn't be reaching out to us if you've got those questions. So we're really looking forward to seeing you guys. Kind of the last question I have for you then, Rose, is what are the services that we do provide versus the services that we don't provide in our office, if you could answer that?
So we provide everything from prospective students to getting your career after you graduate, kind of. So we provide recruiting services, including tours, student perspectives with the ambassadors, things like that for our prospective students. We also offer graduate and undergraduate academic advising services to keep you on track to make sure your degree goes well. We also offer career advising and professional development opportunities that are specifically tailored to communication students. One thing to keep in mind, we are here to listen to absolutely anything you have on your mind, but we are not a substitute for mental health resources, just so you're aware. Also, we can't offer help with financial aid or housing and dining services questions, but if you have questions like that, we know where to direct you, and that's perfect for dropping into the lobby and asking me about. Otherwise, we are so excited to see you virtually this fall.
Thanks so much, Rose. That's so helpful to know, you know, how to contact the office and what services we should reach out, you know, with questions that we have throughout the fall semester. And for those of you that, you know, missed that contact information, we'll make sure and throw up a resource slide here at the end that includes exactly how to contact us. You'll also be seeing it in a lot of other announcements as we get closer to fall starting. So thanks so much, Rose. We appreciate that. All right, I say we move into some questions for our academic advisors now. It's kind of a big section here. We've got a lot of questions about what it's going to look like for fall. So I'll go ahead and direct this first question to Megan. This is a pretty common one that we get. What is academic advising and how is that related to that undergraduate advising hold that a lot of our students have?
Yeah, that's a great question. So academic advising is really a relationship with one of us or all of us, our entire office, in that we help you pursue your educational goals. So we have some insight, some guidance that we're here to provide to you to help you stay on track for your goal and your timeline to degree completion. If you are looking in your, I think it's your task tile in My WSU, and you happen to see something called an Undergraduate Advising Hold, that hold was placed by the registrar's office and basically means you need to have a conversation with your academic advisor. And again, we're just here as a resource to help keep you on track to satisfy your degree goal in your timeline.
Great answer. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We really appreciate that. So I think some students get a little bit confused, like Rose mentioned, between, you know, what academic advising versus financial aid advising versus mental health. So it's really helpful to kind of clarify that and say, you know, we're here as a resource for all of those things, but particularly to keep you on track for graduation, get you that job, and kind of keep you involved. So that's fantastic. Next question I'll throw up there. This one's kind of complicated. It's who is my academic advisor, or how do I find who my academic advisor is? A lot of our students should know this, but some of them may not. So how do we find that information?
The easiest way to find that information is to log into your My WSU account, and on your home screen, you will have a tile that says Academic Advising. You click on that, you'll see a picture of your advisor and your advisor's name, and from there, you can click on their email. The link with their name will direct you to their email, so you can send them an email. If you cannot find that and you still need help, please call our office and Rose can assist you in letting you know who your advisor is. You should be assigned to Megan, Jessica, Jeremy, or me.
Fantastic. That's great to kind of know and to kind of see everybody's faces here today too, to know, hey, this is my academic advisor, kind of put a name to a face. Katie, if I can turn it over to you for a second, if you want to go ahead and share your screen and show us what that actually looks like from the student perspective, I think that would be really helpful.
All right, so this is my WSU homepage. So as Tammy said, we're gonna go up here to the academic advising tab, and I'm gonna click on that. And as she said, my advisors pop right up. So mine at the Murrow College is Jessica. You might see another name up here. That is for my minor. So that is in another college. But right here this is Jessica. It says what the degree and program plan I'm in that she's advising me for. And as Tammy said, here is her contact information with email as well as her phone number.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that screenshot. It's really helpful to kind of see it from the student perspective. A lot of us, kind of work on the staff side, so it looks a little different to us. So thank you so much for sharing that. Next question that I have for our academic advisors is, how do students schedule appointments with you guys, especially as we move into, kind of being virtual for fall? What are the best ways that students can schedule appointments?
So I think the best way, and Rose talked about it a little bit earlier, is going through SSC Navigate. Going in and setting up an appointment that really alleviates all the back and forth email. Hey, can I get a time? Hey, my schedule just filled up. Hey, what about this time? Nope, we don't. So if you go into SSC Navigate, it won't let you schedule over the top of something we already have scheduled. So it alleviates that, kind of back and forth. So number one recommendation, we go through SSC Navigate. If you're having trouble getting an appointment through there, whatever the case, you can also call Rose at 509-335-7333, and she can set an appointment for any of us that way as well. Great.
That is perfect. SSC Navigate is a great way to do that. Like Jeremy said, it syncs with our calendar, so students can kind of log in and show us that. Katie, if you're willing to share your screen again and again show us what that looks like from the student perspective. We don't have to go through a whole appointment, but at least maybe kind of show us what that SSC Navigate looks like from your perspective.
So what you're going to do is go to navigate.wsu.edu, and this is going to take you to this homepage. And what I always do is just schedule appointment. I just click sign in right here, and that's going to take you to sign in with your WSU credentials. So what your network ID is and your password, which is the same all across WSU for all of our platforms. So then when you get to the home page, it's going to look like this. And how to schedule your advising appointment is you click the blue Get Assistance button. And then it'll ask you a series of questions, and I won't go through that. It's very easy, but it'll ask you a series of questions of what the nature of your appointment would be, who you're going to be meeting with, and it'll pop up with your academic advisor already. It's very smart, and it knows who you are needing to meet with. So it's very easy, and then it'll just come up with a list of times that you can choose from, and that makes it really easy to schedule your advising appointment.
Thanks so much for sharing that with us, Katie. Again, it's really helpful to see that from the student perspective. One question, again, that's kind of related to this, and Jeremy answered it a little bit, but I'll just throw it out there again, is, when are advisors available for appointments? Rose kind of answered that with our business office or our business hours, but when are advisors available for students to schedule those appointments?
So our advisors are available typically between the hours of 8 to 5 with a lunch hour break. And that's what's really nice about that SEC Navigate, is if we do have other advising appointments or other projects that we're working on, you will see that you aren't able to meet with us during certain times. So it's also nice as a student, instead of going back and forth maybe with Rose, which is also okay on the phone, but if I have class these times and I see that my advisor's scheduled already for this time, let me find a time that they're available during the week as soon as possible. And so that's how you can tell when your advisors are available, or you can call Rose and ask her, and she can definitely take a look at our schedules to help you find a perfect time.
And can I just add to that we're actually available now. So if you're having questions this summer, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here. We're all kind of learning about the new fall schedule together, so we may not have all the answers, but we'll let you know as much as we can. But yeah, we're available now. So don't wait till fall if you have questions now.
Thank you so much for adding that, Megan. That's very, very important. I think a lot of students, come the first day of class and go, oh, I actually had all these questions, but I didn't know my advisor was available. But absolutely, our student services office has been open all summer. We're here to answer questions. So reach out to our main office line. You'll get a hold of Rose, and then we can direct you to who you need to talk to get those questions answered. So thank you so much for adding that. Okay, well, kind of next question related to those appointments. I'll kind of throw this one out there as well. What do students need to do, or if I was a student, what do I need to come prepared with to an advising appointment?
Awesome, I'll take that one. First and foremost, I encourage you to bring something that you can take notes on, whether that's your smartphone or an old school pad and paper, but be ready to take some notes. The other thing that I'm going to encourage you to come prepared with is having taken a look at your academic advising report in, again, your My WSU, and I believe it was also under that academic advising title that Katie showed you earlier. That report is going to outline all of the requirements that you have to satisfy in order to earn a degree at WSU. So look over that, and if something looks odd, note that as a question. That's something that we can take a look at together. So come prepared with those questions specific to your academics, but also, as we've noted before, if you have other questions and you're feeling a little lost as to which office to contact, or just the right protocol, maybe you're having instructor issues and you're not sure what next step to take, feel free to ask us those questions. We'll get you pointed in the right direction.
Great answer. I also want to add too that if you guys are looking for ways to get involved in the Murrow College, your advisors are going to have that information as well. We are going to release another video as we get closer to the fall semester with our club information for fall and what that's going to look like. But if you get to campus virtually or physically and have questions about how to get involved, with extracurricular opportunities, with internships, if you have questions about our scholarships, our advisors are a great kind of stop to get those questions answered. So thanks so much for answering that. Next question, Rose again kind of touched on this a little bit, but I kind of want an advisor perspective because you guys are kind of sitting on the other end of that. What are drop-in hours in the Murrow College? What does that mean?
Drop-in hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9:30, and they will be virtual this semester. As Rose mentioned, we will have drop-in hours Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 in the first week of classes. So if you have a question about your schedule or you're not enrolled in a class, it'll be different this time. Usually with classes where you're on a wait list, we ask you to sit in. You can't sit in virtually. So it's really, really important that you reach out to us before those classes start, or at the very least on that first day. We want to talk to you, find out what you're waiting for, and see if there are alternate classes that you could take instead. So again, 8 to 5, that first week, we do close for lunch from noon to 1. So then after that, week 2 and beyond, the drop-in hours are 8:30 to 9:30, again, completely virtually. So there'll be a link at the end of this video with that link so that you can drop in for those drop-ins. Drop-ins are also intended to be quick 10-minute appointments. We realize in the first week, sometimes they take a little bit longer, so we appreciate your patience with that. But in the rest of the semester, it's intended to be for quick questions. I have a question about this, or my schedule isn't quite right, or who should I talk to about my financial aid, things like that. A full advising appointment where you're trying to map out your classes and your full timeline to degree requires an appointment, because that usually takes closer to a full 30 minutes.
Great answer. Thank you so much for clarifying what our drop-in hours are. And the reason why they are those kind of quick 10-minute appointments like Tammy mentioned is just so we have enough time to see all the students that have those questions during that time. If you want that guaranteed 30 minutes to, like Tammy said, plan out your graduation plan, look at classes for future semesters, we want to make sure we can give you the full 30 minutes that you need to complete that. So an appointment's definitely better served to kind of complete that. So thank you so much for telling us the difference between that. So we've already gone over a lot of information with our questions for our advisors. So the next question I'll pose to you guys is, as a student, how would I stay updated on all of this information, especially throughout the fall semester as we transition to this virtual kind of mode of instruction?
I think the beauty of this question and the answer lies in the title of the college you're in, the Murrow College of Communication. You're gonna, everybody you're working with, professors, everything else, they're professional communicators. So Blackboard, every advisor has a Blackboard page. You can go and see information there. The Murrow updates put out, always have updated information on advising. Email, I tell everybody in every advising appointment, make sure you're checking your WSU email. Continue that. It's going to be critical through this fall semester. So yeah, it will be communicated. Just listen to the communication, and you'll find the way.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Again, I'll reiterate about a million more times. I completely agree with Jeremy that checking your WSU email is going to be the best way to get those announcements through the fall semester. We'll do our best way to communicate with you in any other way possible, but the email is really where that information is going to come from, particularly the Murrow update, which is the weekly email that Rose sends out that just includes all the information about our college and kind of what's going on and things that you need to be aware of. So checking that email is going to be the best place to go for that. All right, now let's transition into some actual questions related to COVID-19 this fall semester and how that's impacted the Student Services Office. After that, we'll transition to some career advising questions as well. So I think the main question that we've been getting across the university is students are curious about how do I tell if my course is online, synchronous or asynchronous or virtual, or if it's one of those few in-person classes. How do I tell the difference between all of that?
So there are a few ways to look at your course schedule. The easiest way that we always recommend when you're searching for classes is to go to schedules.wsu.edu. That has most up-to-date information, although it is not live. So if you see one seat, it could have been taken by somebody in the last hour. So the classes will be listed there. The easiest way to read that is over on the right-hand side where it normally has your room listed. It will say arranged, ARR, ARR. That means it's completely 100% online. All of the content is recorded, so there will not be a particular time that you're required to log in. We do highly recommend any 3-credit class usually requires 3 hours of study time or classroom time per week. So you should plan to log in to your class for 3 hours each week. Most classes are usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, so put them in your planner. And this is your dream semester, right? Everybody always wants their classes from 10 to 2. This is the time to do that. You can schedule the classes at whatever time you want. So that makes it really easy. So then the other option is web arranged. So classes that are listed WEBARR have a specific day and time still assigned to the class. So if the class shows Tuesday, Thursday, 9:10 to 10:25, then you need to be ready to log into your Zoom classroom at that time. More information will come from your teacher as we get closer to the start day of the class. So be watching both Blackboard and your WSU email for updates from the instructor. There are very few classes that will still be online. The Murrow College is still reviewing a few classes, so please watch your email for more information about that. But the majority of our classes are set as either fully online or in the web arranged virtual format. Those that will be online, if you were taking some class in another area or a class that still needs to be in person, those will be set by August 1st. So watch for an update on schedules.wsu.edu or your schedule of classes. There is no need at this time for you to switch campuses to another campus because you can still be a Pullman student but live in Seattle, in California, in Florida, wherever you are in another country, and still take those classes on the Pullman campus.
Great explanation. Thank you so much, Tammy. We've been getting a lot of confusion about, do I have to log in at a certain time? Is this completely online? I also appreciate you mentioning that students don't need to switch campuses. I think that a lot of students thought they needed to switch to, the global campus in order to be online. But essentially what we did is we allowed all of our Pullman students to work from wherever they are in order to keep them safe this semester, but still be able to make timely degree progress, because As you know, a lot of our advisors know, not all of our degrees are offered through the global campus. So we want to make sure that you're completing a Pullman degree, but while still being safe for this fall semester. So thank you so much for sharing that. Next question is, if I'm not on campus this fall semester, if I decided to stay in, like Tammy said, you know, Seattle, California, Florida, how do I get in contact with my academic advisor?
Awesome. So the glorious part about being completely virtual is we can join you from wherever you are. As long as you have internet or a phone line, as Rose indicated, we can connect. Again, SSC Navigate is the best way to book an appointment with us. We're also available via our email, and like Katie showed you, you can easily find that in your MyWSU academic advising tab. If you are concerned about what our email address is or can't find it, you can also give us a call, 509-335-7333. We'll be answering the phones 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, starting in the fall semester. Right now we are on summer hours, so those are a little bit adjusted, but just in a few weeks we'll be back to that 8 to 5 hours. But remember, that's Pacific time, so please keep that in mind depending on where you are located. So email, SSC Navigate, and over the phone, we can join you literally from wherever you are.
Perfect. So glad to hear that, you know, just because I think a lot of students have panicked, you know, I'm not going to be in Pullman. I'm worried that I'm not going to have access to these resources, but tutoring, academic advising, financial aid services, we're all still going to be there for you. All you have to do is reach out. Like Megan said, pick up the phone wherever you are and we can help you out. We do ask that if you do a video appointment, you know, at least try to get dressed for that. We appreciate that. You can be in your pajamas, that's totally fine. But otherwise, maybe pick up the phone if you're, you know, thinking that you just woke up and kind of want to chat with us that way. Fantastic. My next question is a little tricky, but if I am in Pullman, is there a way that I can meet with my academic advisor in person for the fall semester?
Yes, so on a very limited basis and while practicing social distancing and all the CDC guidelines, you can schedule an in-person appointment, but to do so, you will need to call our office. So that way we can find a time where your advisor is also in person and that we are able to accommodate sanitization regulations and make sure that there's space between the advisor and the student. So on a very limited basis, there is the possibility. You just have to call the office. You can't do it through SEC Navigate.
Thanks so much, Jessica. Appreciate you sharing that. I think as most of our advisors have mentioned, SSC Navigate is probably going to be the easiest and quickest way to get an appointment with your advisor. If you are in Pullman and want to meet in person, that may be a couple weeks out in order to get an appointment, in order to accommodate social distancing and sanitization protocols. So if you are looking for a faster appointment or want to get a hold of your advisor a lot faster, SSC Navigate or calling our office is probably the best way to do that. But we are happy to accommodate those in-person requests if you give us a call. So thanks so much for sharing that. Last question related to COVID and academic advising. What other advising changes are there going to be for fall that maybe students should be aware of?
So as far as the advising itself goes, know that there will be no change. You're still getting the same advising that you would if you came in and sat down in our office, except for potentially it's more accessible because instead of you coming to us, we're coming to you. Wherever you are, whenever, within that 8 to 5 window, we come to you. One change that returning students will see is the drop-in hours that we've already discussed, 8:30 to 9:30, 5 days a week now. So you've got that opportunity to drop in real quick. More opportunity there. And then, outside of that, if you can get a stable internet connection or a good cell service, we're there for you.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for sharing that. I actually really like the answer to that question where, when we say what changes should we expect for fall, really, as far as, our student services office goes, we just became more accessible to you, like Jeremy said. We're still providing the same services. We're still going to get you, on track to graduation and answer all of your questions. But now you don't even really have to leave your room. We just come to you whenever you schedule that appointment. So thanks so much for sharing that. And if you guys still have questions about what impacts they're going to be for fall semester, please reach out to our office. Like Megan said, the schedule of classes will be finalized August 1st, so we will do our best to answer questions until that time. But otherwise, please reach out to our office and we'll be happy to answer anything that we can related to academic advising. So now, just transitioning over, I want to talk to Angela just a little bit about some career questions that we have. So my first question for you, Angela, is we've been talking a lot about career advising. So what is that? What is career advising?
Well, career advising involves helping students prepare for the world of work. And in my role, I provide assistance to students, helping them to find out a little bit more about themselves, self-awareness, skills that they may want to develop and be proficient at, their values, and how that relates to their specific career direction. It also means helping students with creating a professional development path. And how I do that is helping them with resume development, critiquing resumes, help them develop a LinkedIn profile, networking opportunities, helping them with personal branding, finding where their strengths are and their talents and how that can lead to a career or a professional position. Also provide resources. So we have a classified newsletter that comes out on Friday, and that has a lot of professional development tips in and also internship opportunities. We also have Murrow Jobs on Facebook, and I post lots of jobs and internship opportunities on that as well. So it's kind of a holistic approach, I think, really working with the student to help them feel comfortable knowing that they can feel safe talking about their career options and what can happen from there.
Great. Thanks so much for sharing that. Hopefully that clarifies for our students, what the differences between academic advising and career advising is. My next question is, if I'm a student and I haven't ever had career advising, when should I start scheduling appointments with you to kind of get those questions answered?
You could start now, really. You can make an appointment now. The sooner the better. It's never too early to start. And I really encourage freshmen to think about that. Come in and visit with me, I guess virtually through Zoom, and we can talk about what direction you want to take and how that might work. We also talk about career competencies, and those are things that employers look for in recent graduates. So those are skills that they should have to be competitive in the job market, and so it's really important to talk about those now. Also just to develop a relationship with me and to come in and just chat a little bit about what we can do and offer you and in the area of career advising. So anytime, go for it.
I think that's super important to have our students, jump on that just as soon as they can and get those questions answered and start on the right path right from their first or second year here with us in Murrow. So that's great. How do students schedule appointments for the fall semester, with the changes with COVID?
Oh, right. So we're going to just continue with having them call our office and contact Rose. Students can also email me and I can schedule an appointment as well. So that's what we're doing right now.
Great. And we'll make sure and throw up Angela's contact information here at the end of this video as well. So you guys can reach out to either Rose through our Student Services office or email Angela directly for that virtual appointment this fall semester. Next question is, I want to know a little bit about what is the career fair at WSU? What's the, we hear people kind of talking about this big event that happens in the fall. So what is that?
Well, first of all, I just want to say WSU Career Fair has gone virtual for the fall, which is really, really exciting. So they'll be providing the same services, having employers and recruiters there to help talk with students about job opportunities and also interview students for jobs. Career fairs are really valuable even if you're not ready to find a job yet. Going and networking with employers, learning about jobs that are out there and the industry that you're interested in is really valuable. It also helps you practice your pitch of what you want to sell yourself in a way that helps the employer realize what your skills are. So it's a really valuable experience. It will be the first week in October. So mark your calendars for that big event, and it is virtual. It's a very valuable experience for students. So I encourage everyone to go, even if they're not ready to look for a job.
Yeah, it's definitely a great experience. You get that hands-on, like Angela said, kind of meeting with employers and figuring out what it is that you need to do in order to be marketable. So that's a great experience. Another question that we get kind of related to the career fair is, does Murrow have a specific career fair for our college?
Well, Murrow College has the wonderful and well-known Murrow Symposium, and that happens in the spring. And that brings together professional communicators and alumni to discuss emerging trends in the communication industry and to offer their expertise to students. So they provide workshops. There is a career fair component to that. You can also have career coaching if you're a student with a professional alumni. Very valuable to attend that. This spring semester was canceled due to COVID, of course, but they did have virtual career coaching. And we will keep you posted on what's going on with the spring 2021 Murrow Symposium planning.
Great. Another great reason for students to check their email, right? And make sure they know
definitely.
Definitely coming. So that's great. You did answer my question about how students find jobs and internships. You know, that Murrow Classifieds email that comes out once a week, the Murrow Jobs on Facebook, and then also our Murrow Symposium. So thank you so much for sharing about that. My next question and kind of final question for you that we get a lot from prospective students as well as our current students is, does Murrow offer credit towards the degree for completing an internship?
Definitely. It's referred to as COM 495. Students must complete and pass COM 300, and it's recommended students complete some other COM courses as well. Students can take that for credit. So when they find an internship, they can complete an application, and I can certainly provide more information to the students about this whole process. But once they do that, it's approved, and then I enroll them in the credits for that course, and then they have their internship. It's also a Blackboard course. So I'm the instructor for that course, and we work on students completing journals on career competencies as they relate to their internship experience, which is really valuable. So there is that opportunity. Another thing we're starting is micro internship for credit. And that is a short-term project that maybe a business or a company has. That's up to 30 hours for 1 credit of COM 497, but I certainly can talk to you more about that. And of course, you would need to talk with your advisor as well as how that might work with your academic plan.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's such a neat opportunity that we allow our students to take this internship class that allows them to earn credit towards their degree, but also gives them that hands-on experience for internships. So thanks so much for sharing it with us today, Angela. We really appreciate it. Like we mentioned, we'll make sure and throw up Angela's information at the end of this presentation, along with our student services contact information. But before we do that, I do want to kind of go ahead and just give a few reminders for fall 2020 as we get closer to classes starting. As we've said multiple times already, it is so important to check your email even before classes start, so that way you know how to access your class information, you know, before the first day. So make sure to check your email. You can put it on your phone. You can get those alerts. It makes it super easy. So make sure to do that. Another reminder is please meet with your academic advisor just as often as possible. They're here to answer your questions, so we don't want you sitting out there with questions that aren't getting answered when we're available, like Megan said, right now. So please contact our office and we'd be happy to answer those questions. Also, make sure to use our online resources for this fall semester. We're going to have online tutoring, advising, our clubs will be virtual as well. So make sure to reach out to us and get involved. We still want you to be a Murrow student here on the Pullman campus or wherever campus you're taking classes from. And so reach out to us and we'll make sure that we get you involved in all the right resources and answer your questions. Finally, like I did promise, we are going to go ahead and throw up that resource slide now. Our student services contact information is here, as well as that Zoom link for drop-in appointments coming soon. And Angela's contact information is here as well for those of you that want to schedule an appointment for career advising. So, a little bit of a long episode today, but we are so glad that you joined us. We hope that we are able to answer all of your questions today. It is a lot of information, but as we've said multiple times, please reach out to our office for any clarification or anything else that we may not have answered in this video. Our next Murrow Minutes video will be released in a couple weeks, where we're actually going to be meeting with your first year faculty members for classes like COM 101 and COM 102. They're going to be talking a little bit about what our virtual fall semester is going to look like for our new incoming class. So make sure to check out that video. They're very engaging. After that, You're going to be receiving some information about our awesome virtual Week of Welcome event where you can win prizes, learn about our clubs for fall, which is going to be really important. And you can also meet our dean during that time as well. So make sure and check your email, like we've said, for information about the Week of Welcome event. And we'll make sure and send that invite to you soon. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Cougs.